Good evening and welcome to Media Matrix. I'm Erin Morgan. Today is Monday, February 26th. Tonight, we are starting a new series called Ethical Journalism, and we're sending Media Matrix correspondents Yazmin Rodriguez and Genesis Aquino to report on the hot topics in ethical journalism. In tonight's episode, we're going to hear stories about the ethics behind photojournalism and where the line is between exploitation and journalism. The news is more than just the story. Photographers are able to help reporters tell their stories by providing visuals. However, at what point are taking these pictures a violation of human rights? Media Matrix Yazmin Rodriguez has the story.
The Society of Professional Journalists believe that public enlightenment is the forerunner of justice and the foundation of democracy. Ethical journalism strives to ensure the free exchange of information that is fair and accurate and done with integrity. According to the Society of Professional Journalists, ethical journalists should treat subjects and members of the public as human beings deserving of respect. They should show compassion for those who may have been affected by news coverage and use heightened sensitivity. Sensitivity is a key word when it comes to how a journalist covers a story, and this is especially important to photojournalists. Photojournalists are those who use photos to tell a story. In a paper written by Sebastian Jacobitz, he says, "I hear the opinion that street photographers exploit people on the street by taking their picture without asking. This opinion raises some valid questions about the ethics of street photography, but also shows the double standards we follow in the media. Photojournalism is tricky, in the sense that you can never alter a scene because that would violate the ethics of photojournalism. Instead, you want to appear invisible. They find themselves more conflicted and challenging the code of ethics much more than any other journalist. Is it right to shove a camera in a malnourished child's face in extremely harsh conditions and exploit it for profit or pass it along as knowledge of what's going on in the world? The phrase "don't shoot the messenger" applies in the circumstance of a photojournalist. They simply are not being cruel, but rather translating reality and spreading awareness. There is no exploitation in showing reality. There are rights a photojournalist has, and it's best explained this way.
See, it's everybody's right to point and click. If you're in a public space, you're a dude or a chick. Taking photos are your right in a free society. Let me kick a rhyme.
Writer Michael Gabriel once said, "Photojournalism is an effective way of telling stories and disseminating information to a diverse group of people. Compared to text or plain articles, photos are more attractive. People are drawn to them because the images are colorful and interesting. Best of all, photojournalism works because it does not only rely on words and phrases, photographs paint real pictures of events and emotions." Reporting for Media Matrix, this is Yazmin Rodriguez. Back to you, Erin.
Thank you, Yazmin. As a journalist, I know how important it is to actually see what is going on in the world, to actually let the story sink in. Our next story investigates how journalism can protect themselves against the Trump administration. When it comes to the media, it's no secret that Trump is not very fond of some of the stories in the news and how he is portrayed by journalists. Since his inauguration, he has maintained a blacklist of platforms he does not want covering him and has gone as far as to call for a boycott of Apple since the company refused to tap into the phone of the San Bernardino shooter. Reporting on the story is Media Matrix Genesis Aquino.
Ethical journalism strives to ensure the free exchange of information that is accurate, fair, and thorough, yet our government seems to do everything in their power to challenge the idea of freedom of the press. While the United States has been ranked in the top 50 for most freedom press since 2002, what happens when political power shifts, and what does this mean for journalists? With a new administration come new rules. Our President Donald Trump is calling for many changes in the media. His changes refer to opening up liable laws, making it easier to sue journalists for reporting unflattering news, blacklisting media outlets, and boycotting companies that refuse to release information on command. With the president blatantly trying to take the reins on the media, this calls for journalists to take action and protect themselves. As the government continues to request tech companies to turn over more and more information, it is crucial to become a tech-savvy journalist. Journalists should be taking the necessary precautions to keep their digital information private. Using apps such as Signal allows for journalists to easily communicate through call or text securely. Journalists should also remember to never reuse a username and password combination for more than one site. Websites such as LastPass and Dashlane create a different randomized password for every site, and best of all, remember them all for you too. Daniel Arroyo, Incident Response Manager for digital rights advocacy group Access Now, warns, activists and journalists working on hostile situations understand very well that unless you take the necessary precautions, your online activities can have consequences for your physical safety. In a society where your physical safety is at risk for reporting accurate, fair, and thorough information is absurd. It is time for journalists to reclaim their ground and continue to hold the government accountable regardless of shifts in power. Reporting for Media Matrix, this is Genesis Aquino.
Thank you for tuning in to Media Matrix, where we explore all of the latest news in technology and media literacy. I'm your host, Erin Morgan, and on behalf of Genesis and Yazmin, have a pleasant evening.